friends, it's Rebecca here, the Dragon Librarian from Farmington Community Library, and Elle and I are here today to talk to you about the best graphic novels that we read back in 2023. So this whole month we've been talking about all the different favorite books. We talked about our top 5 favorite YA books, we talked about our runners-up, and now I saved my favorite for last, the graphic novel section of these videos, because I read not only a lot of books last year, but in particular, I read a lot of graphic novels, a lot of manga, and there are some that just really stood out, ones that I'm still thinking about way after I read them. Now with the criteria that I use, it's not anything like super official. It's basically graphic novels that I love that stay with me. So either the story was really fantastic or the artwork, but most of the time it's both. I either completely fell in love with the artwork and the story both together, and that's one of the things that made me continue to love it even way after I finished reading it. So, top 5 favorite graphic novels. I'm going to start with number 5, and it's actually kind of odd because this one is so popular I have not been able to get my hands on it. I've had a hold on it for a while and it just has been checked out, and it's so popular, so I printed out a what the cover looks like, Belle of the Ball by Marie Costa. Belle of the Ball. Now, I'm really sad that I don't have the actual graphic novel to show you, because one of the things I loved about this was the art, because the whole book is told in this beautiful shade of different pinks and blacks and things like that, where pink is just the main color that they use, and it's just done really, really well. Even if you're not like a huge fan of the color in general, it doesn't matter, because the way that this color pops off the page throughout the whole story and the way it's used in different ways is really, really cool. So it's basically the story of, I want to say it's a little bit of a love triangle. It kind of is. It basically is the story of this one nerdy character who she is the school mascot because she finds it easier to interact with people while she's wearing a costume, and the school beauty and the popular girl. She is like the queen of social activity, and her girlfriend who is a star athlete. So because she wants to impress her, she basically ropes her into tutoring her girlfriend, and she's doing it to get closer to her. However, these two start forming this unbreakable bond that is absolutely gorgeous to see. So like I said, I really wish I had it to show it to you, because it's just a beautiful graphic novel, and the colors and the palette is just really great, but the characters are really good too, and I really like this art style. So even though I can't flip through it to show you what it looks like on the inside, you have to take my word for it for how beautiful this graphic novel is. Belle of the Ball. It's so, so, so cute. Okay. So the next one is definitely a little bit more of a realistically sad story, and it's called Sunshine by Jarrett Krosoczka. Sunshine. Now, this author wrote a previous graphic novel that was called Hey Kiddo. Now, that one is about the main character's experience growing up without his parents while he's being raised by his grandparents. Now, you do not have to read the first one to love this one. It's been a couple years since I actually read the first one, and I didn't remember a lot about it, and it didn't matter at all. You can come into this not knowing anything about what's going on with his past. He does explain a little bit. He does take a little bit of time explaining about this character's background, so you won't be completely lost. And it's really the story of how when he is 16, he goes to volunteer at this camp in the summer for kids that have terminal illness. That is a really, really rough thing, right? That is a really rough thing to deal with, especially as a young person. Dealing with, you know, these kids that are dying or really, really ill is really, really tough. But it's called Sunshine because not only that's what the camp is called, but because that is what this experience brings to his life. It brings this amazing, incredible amount of sunshine and positivity. And now the way he can look at the world and be so thankful and grateful for it, for all that he has, and the way he can use his own talents, which is drawing and artwork, to help the kids that he encounters at this camp and to be his very best self for them. How you can rise up when other people are needing you to empower yourself and others. So it sounds like it's a very heavy graphic novel, right? No, I don't mean the weight. It sounds like it's got a very heavy, deep story, and it does. But I don't want you to think that this is just all sadness and doom and gloom, because it is also very beautiful and lighthearted and fun too. There are moments of just pure joy that shine through that I think you will really miss out if you skip over this book. I really highly recommend it. The art is really good too, and you know, it's just really character driven about him encountering these different kids at this camp and the way he can relate to them and the way he can help them. It's incredible. And the art is really fantastic too. It's so, so, so good. Now, you know, working with people that are severely ill can be really hard, especially when you add the fact that these are young kids that he's working with, kids younger than him. And it's really tough and it's really sad, but it's also really beautiful too to know that you're helping other people and to know that you're being there for other people and giving them something that not only they need, but something that you need too, and something that you didn't even know you had to offer. It's incredible. Highly recommend the story, even though it is, like I said, pretty sad. It is still beautiful and fun as well. Sunshine. Don't miss that one. It's so good. And maybe if you haven't read the first book, hey kiddo, you'll want to after reading that one. Okay, so number 3, we're in the middle of the list, and this one is called Hellaween by Lawton. Now this one is definitely much lighter than what we talked about in the previous book, and the reason I loved this one was for a couple reasons, but mostly just because I love Halloween. I love fall, I love autumn, I love Halloween so much. So when I saw that there was like a Halloween themed graphic novel coming out, I was all about it. But lo and behold, I was really excited to see that not only was this a really fun, cute Halloween story, the artwork is so good. So this is a story about a young girl named Gwen who is trying to be a witch. And she is friends with these other 2 characters one is a vampire and one is a werewolf. And they live in different realms. So these 2 live in a world where all the Halloween folklore and things came from. It's a realm of monsters and creatures, but they come through once the veil between the worlds gets thinner every year around fall, around Halloween. They're able to pass through into our world, and that is where Gwen hangs out with them, and they go on all these fun adventures together. And she takes them all to the places that they don't have, like the mall, and to, you know, look at different video games and to play the arcades and stuff like that. And it's super fun. I love that so much. But Gwen wants more. She wants to grow her powers even more. So when she comes across the spell book, and maybe she starts doing some spells she shouldn't, she begins to open up a portal to this other world that her friends are from, and more creatures start coming through. But maybe ones that are not as friendly as the 2 that she spends a lot of time with. On top of that, you have this other character who is trying to keep battling up against them, basically, because he's trying to prove the existence of supernatural creatures, and nobody believes him. So this is just a really fun graphic novel. Like I said, I loved it because not only because of the Halloween aspect, but the artwork is really, really fun. I think if you really liked the Invader Zim's TV series, that cartoon that came out a while ago, it gives me really big Invader Zim vibes. It's just really fun. It's kooky. It's cute. I loved it so, so much. And like I said, it's a simple story about friends on Halloween and this one girl who's trying to hone her magical powers, but it's just really fun. And I enjoyed it, and it's just great. If you like stuff like that, if you like Halloween or the fall, I know we're in January now and it feels like it's really far away, but this is kind of a graphic novel that I think you could enjoy at any time of the year. Hellaween by Lawton. All right, We've only got 2 left. And I'm gonna say, honestly, I had a bit of a hard time deciding which one of these 2 was going to be my number 2 and my number 1, because I loved them both so, so much. So eventually I did have to choose though, and number 2 is Cosmoknights by Hannah Templar. Cosmoknights. This graphic novel is so fun. It is a thrill ride. It is science fiction, adventure. Loved this graphic novel so much. It's such a unique story. Basically, in this world, there are these huge epic mech battles. So mechs are these like giant robots. So think Transformers, or if you're a fan of Neo Genesis Evangelion, the anime, think of the Evas. Anything you can think of, these big mechanical suits of armor, basically. And there are these jousts or competitions, these battles, and whoever wins them in these tournaments gets the hand of the princess that they're competing for. Now, that sounds really cool and beautiful, but it's become a bit of a corporation. So basically, it's like a power grab. So these people who want to control the princess and basically own the area that the princess is from will contract these mech fighters to go in and fight and win for them and then deliver the princesses to them. So it's a corrupt system, but it's also a very popular system because it's televised. So everybody watches these mech battles, these fights on TV, and are just obsessed with it, but not everybody is obsessed with it. In fact, our main character had a friend when she was younger who was a princess that she helped escape. And ever since that day, she just dreams of taking down this corrupt system. So when she comes up across this fighting pair who are trying to do the same thing, take it apart from the inside, dismantle the system from the very heart of it, she knows that she has to join them to try to help their fight. It's a really cool, unique story, right? I don't think I've read anything like it before. I love the idea of them taking apart this system right from the inside and taking part in these battles, even though they don't believe in them, to try to change the system and change the world for the better. But what I also really loved about this, and you'll notice that this graphic novel is kind of bigger than the sizes of the regular ones, right? And I'm really glad that they did it this way, because the artwork for this is, if you forgive the pun, out of this world. I am obsessed with the artwork in this. Look at this. Look at how beautiful this is. It's so incredible. And that's just the scenery. Just even the pictures where there are, characters. Oh my gosh, look at that. It's gorgeous. And that's just, here's another one. My gosh, it's gorgeous. Can you even believe that? But what I also really love is the artwork of the battles themselves, because they're really, really cool. And I'm just going to try to find a good picture of one of these mech fights. So here's what we've got here. And you can see, there are these huge mechanical suits of armor, these huge mechs that are fighting each other. They've all got weapons and they all look different from each other. And it's so cool. There's lots of action in this. There's lots of sci-fi adventure. It's incredible. This is a fantastic story that I absolutely loved. So volumes 1 and 2 are out now, so don't miss them. Cosmoknights. Oh, just talking about it makes me want to read it again. I might just do that. Okay. So with how much I loved that one, you're just not even going to believe that the number 1 book, there was something I loved even more than that, right? But there was. And this graphic novel is called Lost in Taiwan by Mark Crilley. Now, in comparison, this seems like a much tamer, calmer story than Cosmoknights. And it is. It's a very simple story about this young man named Paul who is visiting his brother, his older brother, who's living in Taiwan. Now, the reason he has been sent to live with his brother for a couple weeks, it's just for a few weeks, is because Paul's behavior is, well, it's kind of been questionable. He's sarcastic, he's moody, he's kind of a jerk to everybody. He doesn't really have any friends. He is very quick to bash things without understanding them. And it's kind of driving everybody crazy. So his dad can't take it anymore. He sends him off to stay with his brother. And the first beginning of the trip, Paul doesn't do anything except sit on his brother's couch and play video games and eat McDonald's. And his brother, like, can't believe this. He's like, man, you are in a new country and this is what you want to do? And Paul gets mad at him and they have a little bit of a fight. So the brother has to go away for a couple days on a trip. Paul is fine on his own. He has his phone. He's got keys to the apartment. Well, when Paul leaves one day to go to a video game store nearby, he leaves his phone at home and he forgets his key as well. So now he is lost in this city that he doesn't know anything about. He doesn't speak the language. He is completely confused. Just think about that for a minute and how scary that might be. If you're in a brand new country that you don't know, you don't speak the language, you don't know anybody there except one family member who's not available at the moment. Think about how scary that would be. But Paul befriends this girl who is very kind and nice, and her older brother not only help him get home, but they also help him see the beauty of this city and the beauty of this world for what it is. And not only does that open his eyes to not just the beauty of Taiwan, but it opens his eyes to the beauty of the world and his life. Isn't that incredible? Now, the thing that I think is just the most beautiful about this graphic novel is the beautiful artwork of, look at that. Oh, look at how gorgeous that is. And even just the scenes where he's just eating food and trying new things for the first time and learning a little bit of the language. It's all so beautiful. And, look at this. This is just, even now, Taiwan is not a place that I ever really thought of going before. It's not a place that was ever on my radar. But after reading this graphic novel, I have been obsessed with it because I think that the way it is just drawn is just absolutely gorgeous. I want to inspect and try out all these beautiful places. I want to eat the food. I want to try out the language. I want to explore. And I think that is just such a amazing thing that a graphic novel can do for you, is take you to a new place. And not just the fantastical places, not just outer space or brand new worlds, like made up worlds, real places in this very world. Places that you maybe never thought about before. It's just, the artwork is beautiful and it's just amazing. And like I said, it teaches him so much about not just the world, but about himself and how he wants to be as a person. This is a graphic novel that I didn't know much about before I checked it out, and it blew me away. I highly, highly recommend it. I fell in love with not just Taiwan, but with the illustrations, with the characters. I love Paul and his journey, of not just really self-improvement, but self-awareness, knowing who he is and what his troubles are and how to fix himself and become a better person. This graphic novel is just, it's amazing, and I think everybody should read it. Lost in Taiwan. Well, that's what we've got for you guys today. I hope that these all sounded really amazing and wonderful, and that you're super excited to read them and check them out. If so, they are all available from Farmington Community Library, so please feel free to come and check them out. And hopefully you will have heard about something today that you didn't know about before, and you'll give something new a try. Thank you so much for watching, friends, and have a wonderful rest of the day.